Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview Sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be interviewing Andy Audate, founder of the Brand Marketing Summit, author, marketing expert, motivational speaker, and serial entrepreneur. Andy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Seth, I'm so elated to be here, man. The opportunity's gonna show up. And I said, when Seth has an opportunity like this, man, I'm gonna show up powerfully.
I greatly appreciate that. So let's go back in time a little bit, because you weren't always the success story that you are now. How did you get started?
At 19, I was the youngest T-Mobile franchise. So I opened up T-Mobile stores and we were number 4 franchise out of 4,000 because of the way that we marketed our businesses. And then in 2016, I transitioned out of that business and I started a marketing agency.
Okay, so let's go back in time a little bit. Hang on one second. So first of all, how'd you get a T-Mobile franchise at the age of 19?
I worked at Metro. So there's a company called Metro PCS, and T-Mobile acquired them in 2013. And upon the acquisition, they were looking for dealers. And I said, hey, man, I was already running one of your stores. I know what it's like to take a store from 0 to 100 very fast. Give me the opportunity. We did very well with them, and then we scaled with them.
Awesome. And then 4th out of 4,000 is an absolutely incredible result. Most of us, me included, would assume that T-Mobile is like a corporately owned store and you got to do what corporate says in terms of marketing and you have no freedom whatsoever. How were you able to color outside the lines and grow like that?
Well, there's some corporate processes you got to follow. However, one of the things that you can do is that we captured customer data. So we captured their name, email, and phone number, and we had a system to call people back. So when someone will walk into, let's say today, an AT&T store, the sales rep is trained to try to greet them, qualify them, present the new device, and try to close. And if that doesn't happen, the customer walks out, and it's like, okay, you're lost. What I did differently is I said, hey, capture that person's name, email, phone number. So give them a coupon in exchange for an accessory, or give them a coupon in exchange for an accessory for their name, email, phone number. And then we call them back and we would set up appointments to have them come back and identify what phones they had or didn't have and upsell them there.
I love the capture contact information and then actually follow up, which probably, again, put you at the top of the pack in relatively short order. What inspired you to want to go open your own marketing firm?
So I left the industry. I left the cell phone industry because there was a scenario in 2000, and this is like 2015. And what happened is that I'm originally from the East Coast, and it snows a lot there. And I left a job to become an entrepreneur because I wanted freedom. I wanted the ability to have quote unquote freedom if you're an entrepreneur, right? That's what we all want. So in 2015, there was this major storm that hit Rhode Island, where I'm originally from. And I told my staff, I said, hey guys, there's so much snow. There's no one that's gonna buy phones today. Take the day off. And then a account service representative, we call them ASRs, was going store to store that day. And they're from T-Mobile Corporate. And they said, hey, why aren't you open? I said, hey, look at the snow. Like, I can't believe you're traveling. There's so much snow that you need not a shovel, but something in front of your truck in order to be able to drive. And they said, you have to open up the store. And I remember just cleaning my car off because I already let my teams go, like they're not working today. So now me as the owner, I have to go in and operate one of these locations. And I remember cleaning my car off, and I said, I'm never going to put myself in a position like this again. And that's when I started to transition out and started looking for other opportunities. And I realized the opportunity right now is online. This was back in 2016, 15. I said the opportunity is online, and what people need is to learn how to market their business. So I'm going to take the strategies that I learned from T-Mobile and from other ventures that I've done and implemented online, and it's been working out so far.
Well, that is awesome. Congratulations on that journey. I'm sure the longer version, if it isn't in a book already, probably could be.
NoMoreAverageBook.com.
I'm sorry?
The book is called No More Average, and the website is NoMoreAverageBook.com.
That is awesome. I will go. I just downloaded a copy of your 7 Keys to Building a $1 Million Brand. I will now go get the No More Average book. So who is an ideal client for Audate Media now?
Today is a small business owner. You're doing above $50,000 and you want to scale using digital marketing. So you want to run Facebook ads, you want to run Google ads, you want to generate leads through marketing funnels, you want to set up sales appointments, and you want to close those deals.
Awesome. So what are some of the most common mistakes those small business owners are making that you're helping them fix?
They're creating social media content without a call to action.
Any other mistakes?
So that's going to be number one. And then number two is that they don't have a follow-up system. They don't have a system to, once they do get a lead, they don't have a system to continually follow up with them and build relationships with them automatically. If they do have a system to follow up, usually it's manual. And if it's manual, it's not scalable. So if they're the ones saying, okay, here's a sticky note of Deborah. Let me call Deborah. Let me text Deborah. Let me email Deborah. Or, hey, Siri, remind me to call John tomorrow because he's interested in my product. When you have that type of process, it's going to slow you down, which I've seen, for example, many realtors operate off of. But if you have a system that you can automate and streamline your entire sales process through technology, then that's when your main focus is on driving new leads and driving new traffic. And that's where we serve you to help you get to that stage. So if you're currently operating where you got sticky notes and reminders and maybe an outdated CRM and all your contacts of all your potential customers are in your cell phone, and you want to transition to a system that you can push 100 people through, or 1,000 people through, or even 10,000 people through, that's what we support you with. Because once you have that system that you can manage that many people and predictably have an outcome for sales, that's when you turn on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and that's when you really start growing your business. You first build the system and then you drive traffic. What I've seen most entrepreneurs do today is that they're like, hey, just get me on Facebook, I guess get me new leads, but they don't even have the system to streamline a lead to a customer automatically.
So they're pouring water in a leaky bucket is what you're saying.
Even worse, they don't even have a bucket. So it's kind of like the phenomenon. So if you want to have water in the bucket, you got to first get the bucket. That is our software Progreda, which automates that entire journey. You put the bucket under the faucet, then you turn on the water. You don't turn on the water, then go find the bucket somewhere. And that's why I see many entrepreneurs are doing that, which is why most stay small.
That makes a lot of sense. So what is Progreda and what inspired you to create it?
Progreda is a CRM that supports you to capture, nurture, and convert sales opportunities. So capture the relationship. So for example, like I just shared with you here, I did a demonstration of it. When someone goes to NoMoreAverageBook.com to go get my book, they put in their name, email, and phone number, but now they become a lead. And when they become a lead, now we have a system to automatically follow up. I'll give you another scenario. Just this weekend, I live in Las Vegas today, but just this weekend, I was in London, United Kingdom, and I spoke on stage. True story. I speak on stage and I say, hey, go to this webpage to download this. About 70 people in the audience at this event, plus online. So over 100 people opted into our system. The event is over after a couple of hours. The event is over. While I'm sitting down, a person to my right that I just met at the event, she gets a phone call from Las Vegas, a Las Vegas phone number. She's like, I live in London. Why is Las Vegas calling me? And I'm like, well, I live in Las Vegas. I'm sure it's my staff because you opted in. And it just was my staff. So my staff was already reaching out to set up a follow up with her to book a sales appointment to see if she's a qualified lead. And it happens just like that. So that's what Progreda does. Progreda does all the automations to set up sales appointments and close so that we can close more business.
That is awesome. Congratulations on that. How would that compare to, say, some of the other programs in the industry like Keep or Infusionsoft or some of those?
Well, very, very similar in the technology. However, with our technology, it's set up and designed for you to do it based off use cases. So when you get Keep and when you get some of the other names that you just said, it comes in you have a blank software. With us, we have templates with actual use cases. So if you're a coach, you click on the coach template, and then we'll give you diagrams and setups for coaches. If you are a restaurant, we give you diagrams and systems for restaurants.
That is awesome. How did you become a speaker?
When I transitioned from the cell phone industry, one of the motivational speakers that I used to listen to every single week was the motivational speaker, Les Brown. And before starting the marketing agency, so I left the cell phone industry, I transitioned to the marketing agency, but right in between the marketing agency, there was a opportunity to join an online course with a motivational speaker, Les Brown. I flew down to Miami I invested into his course. I flew down to Miami to go visit his office, and I got a chance to see him in person. Unbeknownst to me, he looks at me, he says, Andy, you and I look the same. You look like me when I was younger. And I'm in awe, and I'm like, Les, you look like you sound like YouTube. And he's like, man, stop playing. I stayed in the office, and I overheard us through ear hustling. I overheard he was going on a national tour. And I essentially fought like hell to go on this national tour with him. And for between 2016 to 2020, I traveled all around the country with Les Brown, hotel to hotel, seminar to seminar, conference to conference. And many times I was his opening act. So I would speak before him, and I learned a lot of the keys on how to communicate, hold an audience, and build relationships through one-to-many approach.
That is absolutely incredible. Congratulations on that. I'm sure there's another book just off of that journey, if there isn't already. And I love the grit and the hustle and the optimism and determination to make yourself an opportunity so that you could do something amazing. What is your biggest challenge now?
My biggest challenge is creating leaders now. So I've done a good job at building businesses, but in my ascension plan through my $100 million plan for my organizations is really inspiring and empowering and giving tools for other people to be leaders themselves. So we are partnered in a marketing agency. There's a leader, owner, operator that runs that business. We have other software companies that they all have owner operators that run that business. And Audate Media is the overarching, essentially, parent company. And with me leading Audate Media, my job is to make sure that every owner operator that's running those businesses is performing at its highest level, creating the highest amount of recurring revenue, and maintaining retention on their customers. And to do that, there's different skills and processes that are involved. And sometimes the journey of every entrepreneur is like, I want to do it myself, but then there's also Andy's already done it and done it successfully. Let me show you how. So sometimes that conflicts. That's number one. Number two is sometimes each person's at a different stage of their life. And so really ensuring that every owner operator is performing at their highest is actually been my biggest challenge so far.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love connecting with people. The fact that I get to connect with you, I get to connect with other people, whether it's one-to-many, I'm on a stage, I'm connecting with a group, or one-on-one where I'm coaching an individual inside of their business. Or number three, I'm communicating through people, through podcasts that therefore follow up, build relationships. I just love connecting with the people.
What inspired the book No More Average?
Coming from the impoverished city, I'm originally from the smallest state, Rhode Island, and I was raised in the smallest city in that state. It was 1 square mile. So growing up, I saw gangbangers, drug dealers, that type of activity, and I thought that was my future, and that was all that I can perceive. That to me was the norm. So that's average. So now when I wrote that book, it was from an understanding that I'm not going to be that average anymore. So No More Average is a book about getting mentorship and getting connected to other people who can bring you up a whole different level. I'll give you a scenario. Just this week, I'm purchasing a third car now. But this third car is a car of my dreams. Very expensive. It's 6 figures for this car. And I went to my mentor. I went to friends and family who come from a smaller environment. And I said, what do you think about me buying this car? Every one of them is, that's stupid. Don't buy that car. Hell no, don't buy that car. The average income for that group that I asked was probably like 100 grand, right? 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand a year. Now, I went to my mentor. His business is doing $200 million a year. And I said, hey, I'm considering buying this car. Tell me what you think about this. He said, buy it right now. Buy it right now because you're going to use it as a tool to recruit and grow your business. So the perspective of like, what does it cost versus what I can get by buying this car is too different. And when I wrote the book No More Average, it was about connecting with mentors and getting with people who are at a different level than you on a consistent basis, so that way you can change your current circumstance. So today we all have an average. No More Average is, hey, who can I get around, connect with, learn from them, and up-level my current circumstance?
That is absolutely awesome. Well, I know your time's incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending it with us. For our folks watching and listening and who want to learn more, where are the best places for us to send them for you?
AndyAudate.com. That's AndyAudate.com, and Andy Audate on all social media platforms.
Awesome. This has been Seth Greene for Sharkpreneur with Andy Audate, AndyAudate.com. Andy, thanks again for joining us.
Seth, thank you so much for having me, my friend.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.